We are live.
It's Raven, your GS.
Joe, one third of the cyber nerds.
We are live.
We are definitely live. Now, guys, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to click off of this video if you have not seen Star Wars The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi. This is the spoiler review. So you've got 5 seconds from now. If you don't want to be spoiled, please leave. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Luke dies. Alright. I gave him 5 seconds! I gave him 5 seconds.
What are you doing?
It's a spoiler review!
I didn't even know that. You're a sick guy, you know.
Is it a spoiler review?
I wasn't expecting you to start off that. Well, that's cool, it is a spoiler review.
Phasma dies.
Jesus.
It's a spoiler review.
Wow.
Hi guys, I'm Joe, one third of the cyber nerds.
I'm Raven, your GS.
And we're talking about Star Wars Episode 8. Spoilers everywhere.
Alright guys, now get comfortable because I'm definitely getting comfortable with it.
Ray's parents are nobody. Sorry, I'm done. I'll stop. It's like vomit.
Like, you just
I just can't stop, bro. Alright, cool.
So,
let's talk about the movie.
let's talk about the movie.
Where do you want to start? At the beginning?
Right at the beginning.
I effing love this movie.
100%.
Yo, like, no hype because I've just seen the movie or whatever. We've watched it twice and we purposely didn't do the review until we watched the movie twice because we wanted to watch it, give time to breathe, think about it, then watch it again.
Let the hype settle down.
Exactly, let the hype settle down because like I feel like definitely on my first viewing I was just like, ooh, the Star Wars Episode 8 is lit. Do you know what I'm saying? On the second time, I like really took way more stuff in, reaffirmed things that I thought about and stuff like that. So that's why it's taken a bit longer for us to get this review out because we wanted to do it correctly and right.
So, right from the beginning, Poe Dameron. Amazing. Like, we've seen shots from flying, but his solo act was just beautifully shot. Like, and we actually get an opportunity to see why he's the best pilot, like, of the rebellions. So well shot, and oh my, I can't describe it. Like, it's just phenomenal to see him take down the dreadnought guns.
Yeah.
And the dreadnought, oh my goodness, like, beautiful ship.
Fam, like, just the space battles in this movie are legit. Like, this movie starts off with such a bang, and it's like I didn't expect it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why I didn't expect it, but like we went straight in. I think Poe was, because we're talking about Poe right now, I really like his character development through the whole movie.
Yeah.
And he really doesn't get it until the end of the movie, but it's okay because
he's
like,
a pilot.
He's a
pilot,
because
and that's what he's used to.
Yeah, he's used to just the answer to everything is blowing it up. And like by the end of the movie he realizes that I can't blow up everything, and he's also made, like, we'll probably see this in episode 9, but he's made the transition now from just being a hero to being a leader.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
And he gets told that.
Yeah.
You know, he gets told that by Leia.
yeah.
You know?
In fact, no, she says that there's no leaders out there. There was only dead heroes. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's trying to explain that, like,
teaching him the right ways.
Heroes
She's not
die.
gonna be here forever.
Yeah, like, heroes die. Leaders lead. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's it.
so love that. Love the action scenes in it. Like the first scene, just that whole scene where Rose's sister's character is in the last bomber, and I think one of her co-pilot dies, and she has to release the bombs on her own, and she's kicking the thing. Yo,
so intense.
The intensity is on 2,000.
Everybody's relying on her, and you can see Leia's face, like, yo, and then Poe Dameron's face as well.
Yeah.
Like, yo, shoot, like, what's going on? What's the hold up? And it's so intense.
The thing I love, you see when the remote control drops and they show it go past her. In my head, I was like,
at that moment, I thought this is where they take out Prince Leia.
Yeah, I thought it's a wrap for the Resistance right here. But she catches it, and it's like, when she presses that button, it's such a satisfying moment. Like, you know, like, really, like, I'm always for the First Order, Siths, you know, dark side of it, bro. But that was like a triumph. Like that was I felt good that they got it, man.
And you know what? And that's part of the team that directed this movie. Like it just wasn't just, you know, chaotic. It had purpose. You know, it was well directed. It kept us really engaged on what was going on. Like just being there, like, wow, like like we were really divided. Is this where Leia is gonna be taken out? Like so, when you direct stuff like that, it just makes the move like just to another level.
Like I said before, like Ryan Johnson, from the first time I watched Looper, I would love this guy's movies. You know what I'm saying? So it was great just to see how his direction has done in this movie, because it's super legit. Like moving on, like let's move on from Paul. Go ahead.
But also because we're at the beginning, I love the fact that it's straight after
the
Force Awakens. There isn't really time. It's like it's continuously, you know, which is actually pretty good. I didn't know how they was gonna do that, but I liked how that transition was like nice and smooth. Obviously, where we left off, Rey giving the lightsaber to Luke, and that moment while that's going on,
this is happening.
That's happening in space. So again, transition smooth, brilliant, and I loved it.
Yeah, I mean that's the first time that they've gone to movies that are legitly back to back.
Yeah.
And I think when you get this on Blu-ray and you sit down and watch it with The Force Awakens first, and like just go straight on, it's gonna seem like a legit like 6-hour movie. Like that is gonna. I feel like as soon as the movie finished, I was like, this is gonna be so satisfying to watch all as one. And like when I first ever watched Captain America: The First Avenger, didn't really like the movie, but when The Winter Soldier came out,
because you had that transition.
That movie made that better, and I think that this The Last Jedi is gonna make certain things in The Force Awakens so much better. It's gonna give you such a deeper understanding of the Force characters, where they're going, where they was actually at in this movie.
Especially with Force Awakens being the introduction to everything. So whenever you get introduced to something, it's like you don't get to expose as much because it's the beginning of something. So now with the second part of it, you know, it's more complete.
Yeah. We know the characters. We're going in deeper.
All right, let's go to the next one. What you got? It's a lot, isn't it?
I just want to talk about. I want to talk about Kylo Ren.
Okay, I know because you like that character, so let's dive into it.
Kylo Ren might be my favorite Star Wars character. Like in this movie, I feel like it's blasphemy to say, but I feel like I might like Kylo Ren more than I like Vader, fam.
Wow.
Like, bruv, it's mad, bruv, because maybe I don't know why. Kylo Ren is just a sick character. Like people hated him in The Force Awakens, and I loved him, bruv. And in this, you get more of him. You get more deeper. Like in the beginning of the movie, he goes to Snoke. Snoke's like, "You're a failure. You've done this."
Rips him apart.
Yeah. Just annihilates him. He's like, yeah, you killed your dad, but look at you, like you're weak. Yeah.
Just playing with the mask.
He said he literally says you're just a child wearing a mask. And what I think that done for Kylo Ren, the character, is showed him that he does not have to be Darth Vader. You don't have to be him. And in that moment, he realized like, oh, I literally am a kid just trying to be my granddad. And in this movie, he steps away from that and says, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna do what I want. And his motto for the whole movie is let the past die. Like
let me jump in on that.
God!
Which is I really appreciate that. Because it's part of growth. Right? And they showed that growth like when with Kylo Ren, granddad is a rock star. I wanna be that rock star. But then as you grow, you kind of find your own place, your own sense of style, the way you do things. And I love the fact that they went off with that, and the fact that he no longer wears the mask, because that's one of the things that we first symbolized him with Darth Vader. It's like, oh, the whole mask thing, cool. But now he no longer holds on to that, you know, part of just letting go of stuff, like you said, and it's just beautiful to see now. And that's gonna make him more powerful as well.
It makes him more powerful. See, I think it makes it more powerful in the movie because it's like he's now got this belief in himself, like that. Yo, it's not Like in the first movie,
I don't need
yeah,
approval.
in the first movie, he's I need Snoke's approval.
Yeah,
I need Granddad to tell me what to do. Blah blah blah.
like-
Now he's like, no, it's me.
It's
Me. I know what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it. Like, and I love that about just his progression as a character in this movie. We're probably gonna come back to Kylo Ren because he touches on so much other stuff in the movie.
It's one of the centerpieces of the movie anyway, so we have to go back and forth.
I love how much of the focus is on him and Rey. Like they just it's a long movie, but they do such a great job of everyone shines, everyone gets good scenes, everyone gets character growth. Man, I actually really love it, man. It's mad. It's mad. What have you got for me?
Alright, since you was on to Ben Solo, I'm gonna go back to Rey. Okay, so Rey being left off in the island with Luke, like I like how we got her past, even though it doesn't matter, but it finished off and it closed the question for us and also for her in terms of moving forward, because that's what this movie is all about. It's all about moving forward. You know, whether with the Jedi. The Jedi Order, with the Siths, you know, with the Rebellion. So that whole interaction with Luke in the island, great, and how she got in touch with the Force. Like Luke training her, right? So her first 3 lessons with Luke, and I love the fact how she, when tapping into the Force, she also got to experience the dark side, and we spoke about this, how the dark side was actually the side that had answers for her. Love that, because usually
it always does.
But usually they try to show the light side is, you know, the right side or the way, and then speaking of that as well, Luke also kind of explains that that's not correct, you know, and this is why the Jedi has lost. Because, you know, we're vain, we just think we got the answers, but that's not balanced. You know, when she's like, oh wait, there's a dark side, and it's like, yes, when there's great light, there's also great darkness, and when she dives into it, it's just beautiful, because that's when her powers emerge, right? So with go on.
No, I don't want to jump on that whole Force stuff. I wanted to talk about what was it, her parents.
Okay.
Now, I really like that in this movie we find out who her parents are, and I even like more that her parents are like insignificant people. Now, I've been saying, I think it was like after a year, I think from before The Force Awakens to like a year after it, I was like, I want her to be related to Luke. I wanted her to be Luke's daughter. But I think one day I was just like, I kind of watched The Force Awakens again, and I realized, I was like, Rey is good because she doesn't have parents. Like, she wouldn't be the character she is if she had parents, you know what I'm saying? So it was then that I changed my mind, and I was like, if Rey doesn't have parents, it makes more sense, because not having parents has got her to where she is, and like, she needs to find other things. What Maz Kanata tells her in The Force Awakens, you need to find other things that can propel you forward, and that's exactly what happens in this movie. She finds Luke, she finds Leia, you know what I'm saying? She finds a home, she finds that longing, that belonging that she's been desiring. So
one thing that, and this is just me being, you know, super Star Wars nerdy, but one thing that actually answered my questions, because everyone was like, oh, because the whole thing with her in Force Awakens was she's been trained before. You know, she's been mind wiped or something. And now, obviously, reading through the Star Wars books, I really think, and this is my personal opinion based on what I've read from the Legends, is that they went back and got certain pieces from Legend books and implemented on these characters, which makes a lot more sense. So, for example, taking pieces from Bane, where just like the Force itself manifesting through anger, because that's every time she's angry, that's how it manifests, that's how she gets hold of Kylo in the first place, and then that's how she beats him, and that's just through the Force. And one of the things is, the Force is always moving, it's not set, you know, even if you have visions or not, it's always moving, you know, it's not set. And we get that with her, and it makes so much sense, at least for me now in this movie. Sitting down last night, I was like, whoa, like everything was just like, it's just open up. Yo, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, so if that's what they did, and that's the, you know, they went to get pieces, it makes so much sense, because we're always asking for like making legends into canon, but having that approach is so good, because you don't have to bring those legend characters or stories, but you can go and pick up stuff from the Force, stuff from the characters that everybody loves, and point to these new characters. Absolutely love this.
See, with that, I'm not going to go into legend stuff, but I think another thing that I really love about this movie is Kylo Ren and Rey's connection, relationship, like
through the Force.
Oh my god, this thing here. Listen, I don't know whose idea it was, but yeah, and let me shift before we get to there. What's his name? Snoke.
You're right. Let's talk about Snoke.
Snoke's a waste man, first of all. Translation for anyone who doesn't know what waste man is like he's a side man. Like he's not nobody. He's nobody. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like in the movie, they show that like when I say he's nobody, generic Sith Lord. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's all you want.
So I would like to know, like we've been talking about this, we would like to know how he got in control of the First Order and how he came to power, what he did. Like we'd like to know that, but it's not very important.
Yeah, but just how you got through the door, not your personal background, just how you got there to be part of the war. Basically.
Yeah, but he's a waste man. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he found a vulnerable kid in Ben Solo, took advantage of him and tried to abuse it. Yeah, but like it didn't work out for him. And one thing I like about that is it shows that shows how much better Palpatine was. Like, and I know, some people might not have even thought about this, but like, yo, not everyone can just sit in the Emperor's chair and think, yo, I'm gonna run the galaxy for 2 centuries.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Only a few have done that.
Yeah, and you can't, especially like. So I love that his whole in the movie they show how powerful he is and all that stuff, and how easily you can get murked.
Yeah.
Killed, destroyed. Translation.
And that is just, your typical Sith mistake. Yeah. Believing in your own hype and I can't be, touched. And I don't know, maybe that's something they try to play onto people. So they're like, I can't overstep. Mm-hmm. But Kylo Ren always kind of knew. We feel that. And the one thing you said is like, okay, let's not go into that yet, because we were going to get there between Kylo Ren and Luke. But he just felt that's something that Kylo Ren felt like, okay, you're up there right now, but it's something inside me tells me like I can take you on.
Yeah.
And which he did beautifully. Like took him out.
Probably one of my favorites. It's gonna go down as one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. Kylo Ren just assassinating Snoke.
Lovely.
But the best thing Snoke done in this movie was make that connection between Rey and Kylo Ren, man.
Yeah, playing them too. Yeah.
Guys, I just can't explain how much I love like the relationship or non-relationship that Rey and Kylo Ren was having, because they are both characters in the exact same position, just on different sides of it.
Yeah.
Like Kylo Ren has nobody, Rey has nobody. They are both seeking belonging somewhere, and in the movie they find that belonging with each other for a moment. Like
and it's just beautiful. Yeah, bro, it's just so beautiful. The way, and again, we have to talk about the direction. The way this was directed is just so beautiful. The way they shown it to us is like, you feel it yourself. You feel it. You're sitting down and you kind of like, wait, they're connected. Even though they haven't shown in the screens yet, you're like, wait, they're actually connecting one another. It's shot beautifully, and we love the way he went back and forth, and they interacting one another through the Force. Never done before, never seen before, only read in books, but it's the way it's been shown for the first time is just amazing.
Do you think what I loved about the very first time that they realized they connected? It's almost like in Harry Potter, when Harry can see what Voldemort's doing, and Voldemort can see what Harry's doing, but they don't know. Right. But it's different because they can only see each other.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I think is super sick, because I like that Kylo Ren's sitting down and he feels her presence, and then it shows Kylo, but you hear what Rey's doing. Yeah. And then it cuts to Rey and you hear what Kylo's doing.
Satisfying.
Oh my,
it's so satisfying.
Yeah, man, like Ryan Johnson, videographers, choreographers, whatever, all of them guys.
The whole team.
10 out of 10, fam. 10 out of 10. That stuff there is mad, and it's just so gripping. So Let's move on. I don't want to get too deep into things. So I don't want us to be here for like 2 hours. Do you get what I'm saying? But let's move on. Let's talk about another character.
Okay. So Luke. Let's talk about Luke. One of my least favorite characters, and somehow.
Are you talking about in the movie or just Star Wars in general?
Just Star Wars in general. Okay. I never really liked Luke. Don't know why, but that's irrelevant to what I'm about to say. But it's just they've shown what went wrong, you know, and we wasn't sure. Obviously, it was always portrayed to us that it was Snoke that made the first move. Clearly, it wasn't. Again, the Jedi make mistake, okay, and that whole thing with him trying to take out Kylo Ren while he's still a student. Like, you'd never thought that would come into like a Jedi's mind.
I'm back to black.
God.
I don't like Luke in this movie at all. Like, I feel like I actually hate Luke in this movie. The only thing that Luke did good, and that's not even in this movie, was try to assassinate Ben Solo. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, the character I know of Luke Skywalker would never be so scared of the dark side that he'd try to kill it. Do you know what I'm saying? He was about to kill someone for something they hadn't done yet. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know in the movie he doesn't do it, but the character I know would just never. He would never. You know, he'd never think to do that. Do you know what I'm saying? This is the guy who turned Vader back to the light. Why would you see the darkness growing in a child or in a young boy and be like, oh, I've got to kill it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so
it was very, very surprising that twist. That plot was like, whoa, so, you actually tried to do that?
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that in the beginning when he first explains the story to Rey. He lies. I didn't get his motives through the whole movie until the end where he saves everyone. I feel like he went out like a hero, like he done the right thing, do you know what I'm saying? Like he gave them the opportunity to get away and stuff like that, but before I don't understand like what his.
But when you say that's why he disconnected himself from the Force, because he was like, I stepped over the back, even though he stopped himself from trying to take Kylo Ren, but he was already like, you know, 80% into it, you know. Wow. But then he stopped himself, but like just the fact that he got himself to that position, then and realized like, yo, what am I doing? And because of that, and some thought that his academy got destroyed. Yeah. He lost Kylo Ren
and the other Jedis,
and other Jedis to the point where he was like, okay, this is why he went onto the island to just die.
Yeah,
and that kind of like.
I understand that, but like from watching this, I said to you, I want to see a younger Luke Skywalker movie because I want to know like what happens to like to me from what they've showed us is everything was going well. He's got a Jedi Order, everything's going good. Do you know what I'm saying? So he should know that, okay, I'm raising up a lot of light side of, you know, Jedis right now. So the dark side is going to be growing somewhere. Do you know what I'm saying? He should know that already. Like, so I just didn't get that. I just want to know what happened. Like,
do you think it's because is it due to family history? Because he could easily felt that this is my dad all over again. Do you know what I'm saying? And his dad, and they said in the movie, his dad was the most hated person in the galaxy.
It plays a big part, but the reason why I can't use that as an excuse is because he is the one who turned the most hated person in the universe, the worst Sith Lord of all time, to the light. He did that. Him. So if he can't keep his nephew good, who's not even gone bad yet, he's not even gone bad. You know what I'm saying? It's just growing in him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't, like, bro, who can? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if, like, Luke, you turn Vader. If you can't keep Ben on the good side, or even if he goes bad, be there to bring him back. Who's gonna, like, do you know what I'm saying?
It's you know, it's a lot of emotional ties, and that's the thing. Emotions, what was turned Vader in the first place.
Yeah, bro. So that
could have easily driven him to do to do a drastic move like that.
Maybe,
take out his own blood, take out one of his students. Yeah. So so it could be pressure, it could be a lot of factors playing in. Also, when he turned Vader, I mean, Vader could, one of the reasons that Vader turned Vader because he wanted to save his family. So obviously at the time that he sees his son now, it's like, well, is that, Jesus Christ, the phone's going off. But hey, anyway, carry on.
So basically, what else? Let's move on. Let's get away from like all the dark. Like, let's talk about Finn and all of that stuff going on. Do you wanna go? I wanna go.
Go on.
Alright, so I don't know. Like, I liked Finn in this movie. It's alright. Like, I feel like he got a good role. I like that they continued the whole traitor thing. Like, Finn tries to run away in this movie. He's not really running away. He's trying to find Rey. Do you know what I'm saying? He's trying to make sure that Rey's safe. That was his biggest concern at the start of the movie. But just like everyone else, his character grows through this movie as well. I like that he gets a showdown with Captain Phasma, and Captain Phasma is dead. Maybe not.
We've seen
you know what I'm saying?
We've seen that move plenty of times to fall for it.
We'll see. But I really liked. In fact, I'm not going to talk about it because I know you really like that scene with Finn on the base. Okay, I won't say that. Alright, so I'll talk about it then. I really like that. At the end, I thought that Finn was going to die. I thought that Finn was going to make the sacrifice to save the rebels, the resistance. And I was there, like, it was like, this is directing again, because there was a moment I was like, there's no way he's getting out of this. There's no way. Like, Finn is dead. And I was like, they're going to kill John Boyega. Like, I was about to go ham. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And then he gets saved by Rose. Like, she flies her ship into his ship. Yeah, so I thought that was one of the best scenes in the movie.
That scene shows us how much he hates the Order, how much he's invested and what he's been through. And he's been saying this from the get. He's been trying to explain to people, look, you guys don't know how I know these guys, Obviously they took him since he was a kid, so he's seen horrible things. And he gets to the point where it's like, they can't win. To the point where he's willing to sacrifice himself just to make sure that they don't win. Or at least buy some time for the rebellions to make an escape. He's emotionally invested, he's physically invested, and like you said, we actually thought he was going to be taken out, but Rose saves him.
Yeah, it's mad. Other things.
What do you think of that scene with Rose giving him a little peck?
Let's talk about that later. Let's talk about that later. What I was going to say is, I really liked BB-8 in this movie. I didn't like BB-8 so much in episode 7 because I felt like they tried to play too much on it being cute and a toy. But I feel like BB-8 kind of found its R2-D2 stride in episode 8. Like, BB-8 is there saving them time and time again. I feel like they give BB-8 to Finn and Rose because they're the least equipped to look after themselves. And BB-8 saves them time and time again.
Through experience again with Poe Dameron, absolutely.
Exactly. So I really liked BB-8 in this movie.
He comes through clutch.
Yeah, bro, he's through
clutch. More than once.
But that's what I'm saying. He's very, very R2-D2 like in this movie, so I appreciate that. Who else? Benicio del Toro. I know. You talk about him.
Benicio del Toro. Okay, so not crazy. I actually thought he was gonna have a lot more screen time, but nevertheless, his screen time was just perfect. Came in, played his role, as a hacker, a thief, and I absolutely love this character. Like, from his persona, the guy stutters, he's got his little
quirks to him.
Very cool character. And one thing I love about him, has no sides to it. Has no sides to it. And we actually get exposed. So there's a scene where they're in the ship, they've robbed his ship, and he's trying to find out, okay, whose ship is this? Okay, so it's an arms dealer who deals weapons and all sorts to the enemies. But what do we also get?
He sells weapons to the good guys too.
Right. So and it's just it's warfare. someone, whether you're the good or the bad, but someone has to supply weapons, unless you're the separatists who have your own factory, all right? But other than that, and he gives such a good advice to Finn. Don't pick sides.
Yeah. If you want to live free, be out. I'm not going to talk about Benicio del Toro again because I feel like you covered it all. But one thing that he did that Star Wars always does so well is just allude to like just more stuff going on in the universe. And I feel like I said it to you, like they could have a movie just on that, just on the arms dealership, on who's selling to what, who's doing this, who's buying this, currency, stuff like that. And I'm not talking boring Senate talks and stuff like that. I'm talking about real guerrilla warfare, like much like Rogue One, but even more removed from the Force. Like they could easily do that. But I love. Do you know what I want to move on to now is like I feel like we've spoken about a lot of positives, and we'll talk about more positives as well. But I do want to talk about negatives because there are some things in this movie that I think I really don't like. Do you know what I'm saying? Just a couple now. So there's this part in the movie where Rose and Finn, they go off to like the Las Vegas of
to find
the hacker, the Las Vegas of Star Wars or whatever, where they do all the gambling and stuff, and like they steal these Star Wars horses. Someone jump in the comment section below and let me know what they're actually called. But they're like riding these horses for like 5 minutes, and I'm just like, first of all, one thing that usually wouldn't bother me, but I felt like there was plenty of times where like the CG looked weird. It didn't look like Finn and Rose were riding real things and stuff like that. And I'm not one of them people who's like everything needs to be practical effects, but I really didn't like it. Like it really took me out of the movie, and I thought like the scene just drug on for too long. I was like, they could have just clipped 2 minutes
especially if it being such a long movie. It's like 2 hours and a half.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours, and I was like, a lot of this scene I felt was pointless. Do you know what I'm saying? But I liked the mission. I just didn't like how long that one scene where they're escaping lasts. Like you could have just snipped some of that out. So I didn't really like that. There's other parts in the movie where the CG is a bit weird. Like I think when Rey's training the first lesson and like all the stones come up. Yeah. It looked like it cut and then it cut to like it just looked weird. Like if when you watch it again, you're gonna pick up. But the stone, like everything just looked weird, and I was like, I don't know. I just pulled me out of the movie a couple times, and it's an issue. My bigger issue is that it's in Star Wars, and Star Wars never usually has that problem. So it makes me just like don't have those problems in Star Wars. And then the last one, probably the biggest one.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. That is the biggest one.
Luke Skywalker doing not the whole fight. There's one scene.
Yeah, just the scene.
If you've seen the movie, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. He does the Matrix and dodges Kylo Ren's lightsaber, which I'm 50-50 on. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Luke can do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe he can do that. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe he can do that. But after he does the Matrix, he does a little
spin.
He does like a little spin scurry, which definitely he looked like Eddie Gordo in Tekken for a second. He was breakdancing, and I was like, what the hell was that? Like it was guys, I know it's like 2 seconds, but it was so weird for me to see. Like I didn't like that at all, man.
That wasn't necessary. Really and truly, it's a master going against a student. There were so many ways you could have pulled off that fight. He didn't have to do all of that. That was way too much, in my opinion. Yeah. Way too exaggerated, and I was just like you said, you just pulled us out of the movie.
What else? Anything else you didn't like?
I did find it weird, the whole Carrie Fisher bit when she gets blown up. Okay, so one is the what do you call it? The ship they're in. What do you call it? The
cruiser.
The cruiser, right? So the cruiser, first of all, is being shielded by a cloak, right? So maybe I missed it, but how did they manage to blow up the section where they were in? If it was being, because from the back, they shoot in and it's just protecting the cruiser.
See, I think that the TIE fighters can fly through the shield.
Were they inside the shield?
Because I mean, Kylo Ren was there blowing stuff up. So
I
maybe that's continuity. Maybe that's not.
Maybe I didn't pick up. But then everyone gets blown up. Okay, and she's in outer space, and which at the moment we think, which was the way that was shot was phenomenal. I was like, whoa, you know, the way she just got vacuumed out the cruiser, amazing. But then she reached out to the Force and she pulled herself in. Now there is ways that could have been done better because she is a Skywalker. Okay, the blood is in, you know, she does have the blood. Okay, so there's ways I feel that she could have just been cloaked by the Force, and you know. But I just feel, me personally, I feel that whole reaching out and you're flying, gliding through all the way back inside, weird. And that pulled that, I was very, very confused. You know, to the point that I thought, was that a vision? Was someone having a vision of that explosion? And then they was gonna like replay it back, but then it wasn't. And I was just so confused.
I mean, I got a couple issues with this scene. Now, guys, you know, respect to Carrie Fisher. I know she's rest in peace. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you know on the channel, I've wanted Kylo Ren to kill Princess Leia because I feel like for him to reach where he needs to reach, he needs to be the extinguisher of the Skywalkers. He needs to kill, well, you know what I'm saying? He needs to kill Leia, he needs to kill Luke. That's what I think. And what happened in the movie, I think, was even perfect. He didn't pull the trigger that blew her up, but the way she got killed or blown up, I could have accepted that. I could have been like, Kylo Ren had the opportunity, but yesterday he killed his dad, today he just ain't got it in him to kill his mum as well. Do you know what I'm saying? And then the ships he's with, they don't know what he's thinking, and they just pull the trigger and they get blown up. That to me I thought was a perfect scene. Like, and one of the things that annoys me about her surviving that is not just the Force deciding that she's not dead, that we're gonna bring you back. That's fine. That's fine. She done a Superman or a Supergirl thing and came back in. That's okay if that's the way you're gonna go. But then throughout the rest of the movie, she doesn't have a huge role. She doesn't really do anything. And I was just like, when I'm watching the movie, I'm like, well, if they just blew her up there and let her die, then you continue the movie the same way. Like, and nothing changes. And nothing changes. I think maybe the only thing that changes is the scene at the end where Luke comes and talks to her. Yeah. You don't have that scene.
And she tells Poe, "Don't look at me, follow me."
Yeah. That you don't even need. Like, you don't need that scene. At that point where Leia's been killed, the general that flies the starship into Hux's ship dies. Then they should just know that Poe's the leader. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I still feel like they need that. Obviously, they may have plans for what they're going to do with her in episode 9, but if they took her out there, I thought it would have been perfect. And then that would have made the whole movie perfect because she would have got taken out and Luke gets taken out in episode 8 as well. And then you go into episode 9, all new. It's the whole new cast. And that's really the new beginning of the new trilogy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sort of the transition old to new.
Exactly. So instead of this was just my thoughts. Instead of taking all 3 movies to kill off the 3 characters, you take the first 2 movies, and that's why at the end of the movie they're like.
And to be honest, it's 2 movies in one.
Yeah, like, that's one movie. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and at the end of this movie they're like, well, now we've got the new Resistance. Now we're gonna start. And if you like, I feel like it just would have been better if Leia wasn't there for that. Like, if you just take Rey's got the books. She's got Poe, who's a commander. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they still had the pieces even without Leia. So, but other than that, she's good in the movie. Do you know what I'm saying? Her acting's good. She's cool.
They did a very, very solid job with her character.
Yeah, except for the Supergirl thing. Yeah. Except for that, like, but I don't know, man. I really like this movie. Like, this is it. Like, I don't want to give it a place yet, but I know it's in my top 3 Star Wars movies.
You have to. I think with this,
I need 6 months. I need 6 months. I need it on Blu-ray first to make this real decision. But I know it's up there.
Add it to the collection. Let's watch it all. 1 to 8. And then I think that's what we can make that kind of like kind of decision.
No, man says 1 to 8. Like, guys, we know Rogue One, but we're not talking about. We're just talking about the episode.
Yeah, just the episodes.
Mad thing. But yeah, man. super legit. But like, have you got any other things you want to fry out just about the movie, man?
Man, am I missing something?
Kylo Ren and Rey's fight scene.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So where we starting off this? Are we starting off at with in Snoke's base?
We already spoke about Snoke.
Yeah, but in his base, like their fight against the Imperial Guards. Okay, so we finally get to see the Imperial Guards in action, and
they're Praetorian Guards, not Imperial Guards.
Okay, sorry.
So it's alright. I want to correct you before
someone kills me.
Someone fires you up in the comment section.
And pretty decent fight. Me personally, I felt they were just like a notch off, like making it like spectacular fighting, because they are ranked that high for a reason, and their weapons are super cool. I love the way they were moving. I love the way the duo, Kylo Ren and Rey. Okay, but it was just one thing that's missing was just that thing that kept me on the edge, like that move, maybe a weapon move or something, and it was, to me, it was almost like basic fighting. The only thing that made it look really good was the actual duel between those two fighting, in the middle between those guys. But yeah, man, I was kind of a bit disappointed with that.
All right, now I 100% disagree. Like, this scene here, it might be one of my favorite lightsaber duels. Like not just because it's Rey, dark side and light side fighting together, but like, first of all, they fight together really good. Yeah. But it's just like, just everything that's going on, like, they're fighting them, like the moves, Kylo Ren's taking on 3 of them, Rey's taking on 2 of them, like, I just loved it. And then if you watch, like, if you go back to The Force Awakens, there's one lightsaber fight in it. Do you know what I'm saying? And
it wasn't all that.
It wasn't all that. Like, it looked nice because it was in the snow and the scenery. But this here, I loved it, man. I love the way Kylo Ren is annihilating these guys. Arm here, neck here, Rey's over there. Stabbing man here, slicing man's neck. Like, yo,
I love. But that's again. It's the shine is all, and I get that. Okay, it's your movie. It's Rey, it's Kylo Ren. But maybe it's just me being that super comic book fan that I've seen these guys in action, and I just wanted just a little bit, like, I know you're going to lose, but. Because, say for example, someone who's, people that don't know about these guys. Yeah. Okay, to them, it's just gonna be,
generic guys.
You're just a generic guy who's just been there. Well, you're not really doing justice to these characters, And this is just me being a super fan. But like Rey, she's in a position, and then she drops the lightsaber, moves, wham. Absolutely, that's amazing. But then you kind of don't get that from those guys, and I'm just like. Oh man, like they just got made like amateurs, like, to me.
I mean, the worst thing to me about this fight is that, about the fight is that no one loses a limb. And I said it to you before going in. I said, I really need someone's arm to get cut off. And I think there's either 2 reasons they left it out. They left it out because they're like, everyone wants someone's hand to get cut off. But at the same time, it's like, if you're gonna carry on putting in stuff like porgs in the movies, carry on chopping people's arms off. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it makes sense. Like, I felt like Rey got a little cut on her arm, and I was just like,
nothing.
I was like, listen, just cut her hand off. Like, she can just lose a hand or something, like, or even like a leg or something, and get it back. Because I would say Kylo lose a hand, but he's already got the scar, and I don't want it to keep going closer and closer to Vader. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
do you think it's because we're living in that age?
Oh, don't say it.
Where it's just. I think.
Don't say it.
Why? But why else wouldn't they? Because we've always said this, and this is a very known saying. It's not Star Wars if someone doesn't lose a limb.
It's not.
So, I guess it's because we're in that era, and kind of like putting things down, and people they don't want to show that.
Listen, someone's hand needs to get cut off in Star Wars.
But it didn't happen last Force Awakens, didn't happen this one.
Then I'm expecting 3 limbs to get cut off in then, you know what I'm saying? I'm expecting 3 limbs to come off in episode 9.
To the Force.
Yeah, like, because And I think it plays a part to what you're talking about. You wanted more from them guards. That was the moment where someone should have lost a limb.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, because they get taken out seriously. You know, it wasn't no. It wasn't no little slash.
Yeah, they're getting their arms.
They're getting moved to 1000%.
Their arms are coming off. Their heads are rolling. So I'm like.
Everything.
I'm like, that would have been a perfect place for like Rey to lose her arm. I know, and I think that was a good opportunity as well because like she's gone through training, but like I still don't see her as a Jedi Knight. Do you know what I'm saying? I see her as a young Jedi apprentice coming up. And even though now Luke's gone and Master's gone, and Yoda says that she knows everything already, like they're already like kind of propelling her into being like a full Jedi, which I don't think she is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, in a couple years maybe, but I feel like they could have just snipped an arm right there. Do you know what I'm saying? But I want to start shutting this down. But
you brought in Yoda. Yoda's in this movie, episode 8.
Yeah, man. It's Yoda, man.
It's Yoda. You know what I like about it, and we spoke about it, is that it's not CGI.
Yeah.
And it's so nostalgic. It's just so organic to see him, and they did the same thing with the Porgs as well, which is is it like puppet or something?
Yeah, puppets.
Yeah, and Yoda just being Yoda, and he's just there, and the way he talks, his giggles, and it's just Yoda, and it's just like it just came out. I was like, wait, and you know what's funny? Yeah, I kind of felt it. I would have been Yoda, would have been what do you call it? Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously they went with Yoda because Yoda's Luke's master, and like it would have been weird if Obi-Wan just showed up. But even though Obi-Wan spoke to him before, but like Luke, like Yoda really taught Luke.
Yeah, he trained Luke.
I liked him being there. What he said made sense. What he said kind of pushed Luke to do what he did. It all made sense, man. So yeah, it was cool. Like, it was cool to see him.
So
to me, it's not big though.
One thing that's kind of 50-50 for me is, did they shut down the Jedi? Did they not shut down the Jedi?
No, the Jedi are not dead. So
even though they purposely put it in this movie that, you know, the Jedi was wrong, they were vain, they made mistakes.
Yeah.
The whole religion thing is not the Force. You know, they explained what the Force was.
Yeah.
They did that on purpose. They literally put in this movie what the Force is, and how the Jedi don't really represent the Force. You know, and so, but then it's like, oh, but it's not over now. It's
the Jedi aren't the Force. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. The Jedi's aren't dead. Do you know what I'm saying? Because Luke says it, when I die, I won't be the last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because Rey is the last Jedi. Also, Rey has the text, the Jedi text. So, and Rey believes in Jedi and being a Jedi. So
because she thought it was a myth. So obviously she bought into that. She's like a fan. So obviously, if she can be a part of that, why not?
She believes in it. So I feel like she will go and she will start a new Jedi Order. However, she sees fit. I think the point that Luke is making is that the Jedi of the old, do you know what I'm saying? Even he wasn't even part of the Jedi of the old.
No, he's a completely different type of Jedi master.
So and that's what Yoda says. Tell her about the mistakes you made. Do you know what I'm saying? Because now potentially she won't make those mistakes. So I do feel like the Jedi are going to continue. And even though Kylo Ren says kill the things of the past, I think the Sith will continue as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe not in how we've seen them, maybe not rule of two and all of that nonsense, but if Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren that weren't in this movie, which I was disappointed about, but I'm not, because like you said, this is one movie, do you know what I'm saying? If Kylo Ren comes back in episode 9 with the Knights of Ren and a whole bunch of Inquisitor-like Siths,
you know what? And this is definitely one of my moments in this movie, is that are they going to bring the Jedi, the Sith Academy with the Inquisitors? Because this is one of my favorite things I've read in the Legend books, and it makes so much sense, like the way, because before we've always been exposed to the rule of two, and now it's just going to be like the main guy, the Academy, and then the foot soldiers. And this would just be like, and now you can literally get away from the order, from all the politics. It's just like your own thing going against them.
That's what I'm saying.
And the Jedi had the same thing as well. They had the academy, they had the soldiers, which I guess this would be like the rebellion or something.
Resistance, yeah.
And it's just this just warms my heart.
The thing, like I'm saying, like Kylo Ren's MO is let the things of the past die. So he's now the supreme leader Ren, so he can do whatever the hell he wants, fam.
This is
Kylo Ren is a bruv. Listen, guys, look. Spoiler review. I love this. You'll probably never get another spoiler review like this until like episode 9.
Oh my goodness. You know what's funny? We had to wait 2 years for this one. Now that we've had it, we're like, give me more. Like, what's next?
Guys, what I need you to do is watch this spoiler review like 100 times. Jump in the comment section below. Tell us in depth what you think. Like, I want to see essays upon essays, paragraphs in the comment section below. Do you like the movie? Do you hate the movie? What did you think of these scenes? Do you think what our interpretations of Luke, Kylo, Rey, Poe, Leia, like, do you think our interpretations are wrong? Do you think they're right? What do you guys think? Like I really want to know in depth, like, how are you guys feeling about Star Wars The Last Jedi, episode 8, man? Like, guys, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I gotta agree. Like, that's the thing. It's never one thing. It's always emotion. Just like the Force, it's always emotional. It's not what I say is right, what you say is right. It's just like whatever someone says, you can pick up a thing or two that, and then it can just open other possibilities. Yeah. And I absolutely just love that. And obviously, Star Wars fans, we're the best at doing that. So
it's mad. Anyway, guys, thanks for locking in, man. I'm Joe, one further Disciples.
I'm Reverend Eugene.
Before you click off, make sure you go to patreon.com/TheCyberNerds and support the TCN fam. Help us bring you better content every single day.
And make sure you jump on to our shop, thecybernerds.com, the cybernerds / bigcartel.com. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure we have our code down because you get 20% discount as well.
Is it 10%? Isn't it 20%?
Oh, it's 20%.
Oh, 20, yeah.
20%.
20% discount because, you know, it's Star Wars and it's Christmas. But other than that, guys, may the Force be with you, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.